Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming back to our channel. My name is Vicki and this little cutie here is Ginger. And in today's video we're going to be doing a tag for you. That other sound you hear, that's Jade. She's jealous because Ginger gets to be in this video. I try to take turns with them because they both like to be in it so much, but it's Ginger's turn today and jealousy can't stand it. Jade wants to be up here. So let me put her down. And the video that I'm doing for you today is a tag. Now, I watched this on another person's channel that I subscribe to, and I found it very interesting, and I thought that I would like to do it on my channel. So it has like, I have it written down over here. There's almost 40 questions that I'm going to answer. And these, it's called Get to Know Me questions. So you only get to know a little bit more about me. Now, I've done tag videos before on my channel, I know. But there's some different questions in this one than what they usually do. So I think you might learn a little bit more about me when we get to the end of it. So are you ready to go, Ginger, with the video? She says yes. First question is, what does my name mean? Now, I had to look it up. And it said it means triumphant or victorious. What is my sign? My sign is Taurus because my birthday is in May. What is my shoe size? My shoe size is generally a 9, but sometimes I can wear 8.5. Do you have a birthmark? No, I do not. Unless it's someplace on the back of my body where I can't see, I've never noticed a birthmark on me. Something you were teased about as a child. Now, I thought on this, and the only thing I can remember was before I had my teeth fixed in the front here, I used to have a really big gap right there. And I went to the dentist and I had 4 teeth, the 2 big ones and the ones on either side, bonded that brought the gap together. Now, my aunt had the same thing going on with her teeth, but she had a little artificial tooth made that she could slide up in there and pull out. But my dentist recommended that I do the bonding, and it was permanent. And I still actually have it on there. So when I have my teeth pulled and get my dentures in, it will completely eliminate the bonding and all of that. Do you have any pets? Did I skip something? Oh, I guess I skipped that one. Yes, I do. I have 2 dogs. I have a Chihuahua named Ginger, and I have a dachshund named Jade, which is the one that's down there crying. I did skip one of the questions. That was supposed to be before being teased. 3 biggest fears. My number 1 fear is tornadoes. And I'm just really blessed that I have a basement now that I can go into. And I have had to use that basement 4 times since I've moved in this house. The second one is death. Now, I am a Christian, but I am scared of dying. My thoughts are, does it hurt when you die? Is it like somebody smothering you and you can't breathe all the time? Or is it like you go to sleep and your eyes are closed and you're just dreaming permanently in your mind all the time? Death scares me. And then I couldn't really think of a third thing that scares me because I'm not scared of a lot of things, I guess. So the third thing I put down was opening a can of biscuits. You know how when you open them, they pop? That always scares me. I mean, it don't scare me so much I'm having a heart attack or nothing, but it's scary. I always take the can and I kind of hold it out and do it like that and tap it on the edge of the sink to pop it open. Okay, smell that reminds me of my childhood. Now, I couldn't really think of anything here. My mother used to cook all of our meals from scratch, homemade meals. So I put down meatloaf cooking because we had meatloaf a lot, and I can remember smelling it in the kitchen when we get home from school. So I put that down. Have you met anyone famous? Now, I kind of sort of did, but they weren't like famous to where they're known all over the world. One time they were having some kind of a thing out at the rodeo, and I met 2 of the anchors on our local news station that did the news. They were out there signing autographs and also taking pictures. So I did meet them. So that's kind of somebody famous. It was famous in this area, local for our TV station, but not known all around the world. Do I have any children? Yes, I have 1 son who is deceased. Favorite breakfast cereal? Now, this was kind of a toss-up between Alpha-Bits and Captain Crunch. I like both of those. Do you have any scars? Yes, I have a bunch of scars. Too many to even try to go into some of the biggest ones. One of the biggest one that I have is across my stomach where I had a hysterectomy. Then I also have another scar from my breast cancer surgery. I have one on my neck from when I had my spinal cord operated on. And then I have numerous scars from like where I got stitches and stuff. Like I have one on this finger right here. You probably can't see it. There's a scar there where I cut my finger open on an Avon bottle and had to get like 4 stitches. And so I've got other scratches that left scars and stuff like that. Have you ever had any surgeries? Yes, I've had 4 surgeries, and I already told you about them. I had a hysterectomy, I had breast cancer surgery, I had spinal cord surgery, and I had cataract surgery. 3 biggest pet peeves. Now, I didn't have any trouble coming up with these because I have a lot, but these are my 3 biggest ones. Number 1 is leaving the toilet seat up, which I don't have a problem with that now because I don't have any men in the house. But when I was married and I had sons at home, the toilet seat being left up was a big problem all the time. Now, every once in a while, you'll run across a rare man who will remember after he gets through going to the bathroom to put the toilet seat down for the ladies. But I never was lucky enough to have one of those kind of men. Like I said, I don't have to deal with that now because it's just me. And the only time I leave the toilet seat up is when I'm cleaning the toilet bowl. And then I put it down. And another one that I can't stand is when people go shopping, unload their groceries into their car, and then just push the shopping cart out wherever instead of taking it back to the cart corral. Now, me, myself, personally, when I go shopping, I always try to park close to a cart corral so I don't have to walk very far to put it away. But even that being said, if I was far away, I would still walk and put my shopping cart back in a cart corral. But the people that leave it out where it can bump up against people's cars if it's windy and you open your door and there's a shopping cart there and you knock up against it, that just, how do you say it? Grinds my switch. Drives me up the wall, whatever. Frosts me, whatever. And the last one is in public bathrooms when people use the toilet paper and they tear it off up and it goes up inside the roller. And then you come in there next and try to get it and you can't find the end of the toilet. And you're like this, spinning the toilet around trying to get to the end. I always pull it down, tear off what I'm going to use and pull it down more and leave a strip hanging. Courtesy for the next lady coming in there. But I can't tell you the numbers of times I've went in bathroom stalls where they rip it off and it goes up inside the roller and you can't hardly find it. And it drives me crazy. I'm weird, I know. Does anybody else have that problem? I mean, does that bother you? If you go in there and it's dark, do you think, oh, well, and you hunt for it? It bothers me. So that's a pet peeve. What type of car do I drive? I drive a Ford Fiesta, a white Ford Fiesta. What traits do I find attractive in a mate? As I said, I don't have a mate right now, but I like a tall man. I like him to have a good sense of humor. I like him to be kind. Like when you go out to restaurants, I like him to be courteous to the people waiting on the table. And I like him to be courteous to me, like pull my chair out, hold my coat for me, open the car door, just old-fashioned values that are pretty much out of place nowadays. How old were you when you got your driver's license? Now, I was thinking on this, and I think that I was probably around 19 because I have another video on this where I talk about getting my driver's license, and it just wasn't really a big deal to me. I didn't really care if I got them or not. I am now because I'm able to drive myself. I don't have to try to take the city transit bus. We don't have taxis or a bus system in this. We have what's called a transit bus. It's like a big van. And you call the number and they come. And, of course, you got to wait, for them to pick you up. And it used to be 75 cents one way, but I think it's went up now to $2 or $2.50 one way. So, like, if I went to Walmart and came home, it would cost me $5 to use the transit bus. Which, in the long run, that might be cheaper because when you take into consideration if you own a car, You have your taxes renewal. You have to put oil in it. You have to put gas in it. You have to keep your tires aired up. You have to maintain everything. All that stuff costs money. Might be cheaper just to pay $5 once a week to go to the grocery store. My first pet. Now, on this, I'm not sure if they mean my very first pet that I had when I was a child growing up or my pet that I had when I was out on my own. The first pet that I can remember as a child living at home, we had a dachshund mix dog named Duchess that we had for the longest time. Used to get pregnant, have a litter of puppies every time she came in heat. And the first dog that I could remember I had on my own when I was married and out on my own was a German Shepherd named King Desmond. The sickest I've ever been. Now, I thought back on this, and I can't really remember any times that I was like super humongously sick. The only thing that come to my mind was when I had a UTI, kidney infection or a urinary tract infection, and my back was hurting me constantly. It made me sick to my stomach. I was throwing up. When I went to the bathroom and tried to go pee, I couldn't, and it burned, and it hurt because I couldn't pee. And I wanted to pee. My bladder was full, and I couldn't pee. But other than that, I can't really think of any sicknesses I had. I do think that last year or the year before, maybe about probably 2 years ago, I think I had COVID. And I was sick a little bit with it. I wasn't really bad sick with it like a lot of people say when they get it. I'm pretty sure it was COVID because it was right around the time when the virus was really hot out there. And I did wear a mask and I did wear gloves and sanitize and stuff, but I picked up the virus somewhere. And I was sick for probably 10 days with it. And the favorite slang word that you use. I couldn't really think of anything, but sometimes when I'm talking to people and they tell me something, I'll say, cool. That's cool. Okay, that's cool. So I put that down. Something you do that bugs your kids. I couldn't answer this question because I don't have any children at home. Favorite candy bar. It's a toss-up between Three Musketeers and Milky Way. What makes me anxious? Waiting for someone. Like if I was going to work and I was carpooling with somebody and I was waiting for them to pick me up and it was getting later, that would make me anxious. When I used to go out on dates and I was waiting for the guy to come and pick me up, that made me anxious. When a friend's coming to pick me up and we're going shopping to the mall and I'm all dressed up and ready to go and I'm waiting, that makes me anxious. So basically waiting on people makes me anxious. My biggest comfort food, chocolate, anything chocolate. Nicknames, I get called. I couldn't really think of anything as an adult that I get called, but when I was a kid, I got called Goofy a lot. So I guess I'm Goofy Vicky. Sunrise or sunset? Sunset. Favorite song of all time. Now this is going to seem weird and bizarre because I don't like any other songs by this group, but this one particular song, every time it comes on the radio, I crank it up as loud as it'll go and listen to it. It's Guns N' Roses, and the song is Sweet Child of Mine. And I don't really like any of their other songs, but that one there, for some reason, I just really enjoy it. Most annoying sound in the world. Cicadas, those little insects that look like grasshoppers and have long wings. They come out in the spring, maybe, or late fall. I don't remember. They only come out like every 14 years. You'll have a harvest of them because their eggs are buried in the ground. And then when they hatch, they climb up the tree and they come out. And then they fly and they land on the trees and the wires and they that horrifying noise that I don't like. Okay, bravest thing I've ever done. Now, I had to really think long and hard on this because I don't really think there's ever been anything that I did that was really brave. So since I wanted to put something in here, the only thing that I can think of that's brave is when I got married and moved out on my own, and then I got a divorce and lived on my own, took care of myself, paid my bills, bought my own food, cooked my own meals. Living out on my own was probably the bravest thing that I've done. Something that I would love to learn how to do, play the banjo. I don't think I'll ever learn, but that I've always been intrigued by anybody that could play the banjo. Have you ever been in a play? No, and I don't really want to. I'm not an actor, and I don't profess to be an actor. I am on camera right now acting, but I'm not an actor. Okay, first heartbreak. This was a boyfriend of mine that I was deeply, madly in love with. This was my first heartbreak. And I still remember the pain in my heart, how it felt. He actually broke my heart. We went together for probably, as best as I can remember, probably 3 or 4 months. He was a skirt chaser from the beginning, and I had people tell me that, but I didn't believe it. And so we started dating, and I fell in love with him. I mean, head over heels, walking his steps in love with him. And he broke up with me and left me for another woman, and it tore me apart. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I lost a tremendous amount of weight. I was basically down to skin and bones and just heartbroken over him. Biggest regret. The biggest regret I have is my son and I, after he joined the Army, we came into a falling out of ways. And what do you call it? Estranged, where we didn't have any contact with each other. He basically broke off strings in contact with me, and I let it go. Now, what I should have did was pursued and went after him and tried to patch up our relationship. But I didn't. I just let him be because I felt like he needed his space. I let him go. And I might get into this more later on. I'm planning on doing a video of how my son was killed. But I regret now that I didn't try harder to patch our relationship up because he died before we ever got a chance to make amends. And I have regretted that so often that I was not able to patch up with him. This month, November, is the hardest month for me to go because he was actually killed on November 6th, which was, what was it, Sunday? You know, every year. I mean, as time goes on, I know it'll get easier, but he was killed on November 6th. And I regret the fact that I didn't pursue him more and try to patch things up between us. Favorite ice cream. Now on to more happier subjects. Favorite ice cream. I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. Best advice someone has given me. Take care of myself. Now this ties in along with it after my son was killed. I called a friend of mine because I was staying in and just not going anywhere and doing anything. I just didn't want to be out around people because I was mourning. And I called a friend up and I said, I'm needing groceries here at the house. I'm running out of things, but I don't want to get out. I don't want to go out in public and get the groceries and stuff because I said I feel like people. And I don't know why I felt like this because everybody in the world didn't know that my son was just killed. But I told her, I said, I feel like if I go somewhere and somebody sees me that knows what's happening, they're going to say, look at her. Her son's only been dead like 2 or 3 days, and there she is out shopping at Walmart, going out and just fancy free. I told my friend, I said, I really need stuff, but I'm afraid. She said, Vicki, you need to take care of you. You can't bring your son back. He's gone. That's in the past. Nobody needs to judge you for that, and if they do, you don't even need to be around them. She said, if you need food, you go. It'll get you out of the house. It'll make you feel better. Don't worry about what people think about you because you have to live for yourself and you have to take care of you. You're the only one you've got left to take care of you. She said, go and get your shopping cart, fill it up with the groceries you need, and don't pay any attention. If somebody stops and talks to you and says, my condolences, just say thank you and don't get into it. Don't even elaborate on the subject. Just get your stuff and get home as fast as you can. To me, that was the best advice. Because if I hadn't called her and talked to her about that, I know that I would have stayed here to where I got to where I was just drinking water and eating bread. Because I seriously was running out of food and I was just too sad to get out. That was the best advice that she ever gave me. Do you believe in ghosts? No, not really. I mean, I think maybe they might be. I've never seen them that I know of, but I don't guess I really believe in ghosts. And the last thing is kind of a question that I don't really understand. It says, the best and worst phase of my life. Now, I don't know if this is a two-part question if they mean what was the best time in my life and what was the worst time in my life. So I kind of combined it to the best and the worst, like that one story that said, is the best of times, it was the worst of times. When I was in my 20s, back in the 70s, that was a happier time in my life. Um, I was free. I was out on my own. I was working, taking care of myself, as I mentioned. But it was also the worst of the time. I made so many mistakes with doing stuff. I did stuff wrong and I regretted it and I had to learn from my mistakes. But it was a happier time for me. I was happy that I was able to go and live at 70s. To me, if I could go back in a time machine, not to live permanently, I don't think, but I would definitely go back and visit the 70s. I like the clothes that we had in the 70s. I like the music we had in the 70s. I was just an all around more happier person back in the 70s. And so that's it, y'all, for the tag. That's all I've got. Those questions, if any of you want to do this tag, I would really love to see it. So if you do it, please let me know. Tag me in your video, so that I can come to your channel and watch you do it, because I think it's interesting to learn stuff like this about people. Thank you to all the new people on my channel. I appreciate you so much. Thank you to all you old subscribers. It's been with me since the beginning. I appreciate you guys. And if you do a thumbs up, that would help my channel to grow. And leave me any comments down below. That also helps my channel to grow. Thank you so much. And y'all come back and see us any old time. Bye for this one.